Hello friends, it's me Needu. Welcome to my channel Helping Hand for Nurses. In this video, I am dealing with the topic Nursing Research and Statistics Part 4, which includes 20 solved questions with rationale. It will be helpful for all nursing competitive examinations. So please watch the video till the end. And if you like this video, please like it, share it and subscribe it, and also click the bell icon so that you will get notifications if I am uploading new videos. Let us start the video. First question. Which of the following is calculated in test-retest reliability of an instrument which is administered to same subjects under same conditions at two different point of times? Options A. Tudor-Richardson, B. Standard deviation, C. Pearson, D. Mann-Whitney. Answer is C. Pearson. One of the features of the reliability is the stability, and the most common method of determining stability measurement is through the test-retest method. In this method, an instrument or tool is administered to same subjects under same conditions at two different point of times. And the two values that are obtained through this method are calculated or correlated using the Pearson correlation coefficient. Next question. For showing a general distribution of data, which type of graph is suitable? Options A. Pie chart, B. Bar chart, C. Line chart, D. Table. Answer is A. Pie chart. So pie chart is the suitable graph for showing general distribution of data. Next question. The simplest form of presenting research data is options A. Average, B. Median, C. Mode, D. Frequency distribution. Answer is D. Frequency distribution. So the simplest form of presenting research data is frequency distribution. Next question. The test done to find out the difference between demographic variables of the groups. Options A. T-test, B. Z-test, C. ANOVA, D. chi-square. Answer is D. Chi-square test. So the test done to find out the difference between demographic variables of the groups is a chi-square test. T-test. T-test is a parametric statistical test used to determine whether there is significant difference between the means of two groups. That is, T-test is usually done for testing differences between two group means. T-test can be used for two independent groups and also for two dependent groups. Independent group means when there is experimental group and control group. In that case, we are using independent T-test. But in case of dependent groups, that is pre-test, post-test design studies, in that case, we are using paired T-test. Next is Z-test. Z-test, it is also a parametric statistical test. It is used to determine whether two population means are different when variances or when standard deviations are known and the sample is large. Z-test is usually done to determine whether two population means are different when standard deviations or when variances are known and sample size is large. ANOVA, that is analysis of variance. It is a parametric procedure to determine whether the three or more populations are statistically different from each other. It is used for testing differences between means when there are three or more groups. In case of two groups, we are using T-test. If there are more than two groups, in that case, we are using ANOVA test. Next is a chi-square test. Chi-square test is a non-parametric test. It is usually done to test differences in proportions. Next question. Which of the following is a parametric test? Options A. Chi-square test, B. Z-test, C. Wilcoxon sign rank test, D. Mann-Whitney U-test. Answer is B. Z-test. So Z-test is a parametric test, whereas chi-square test, Wilcoxon sign rank test, Mann-Whitney U-test is a non-parametric test. So there are two statistical tests, that is parametric statistical test and non-parametric statistical test. Parametric statistical tests are used in those cases where information about population is completely known by means of its parameters. Information about the population is completely known by means of its parameters. And also it requires measurements on at least an interval scale. Example, t-test, f-test, z-test and ANOVA. Non-parametric test. Non-parametric tests are usually used in those cases if there is no knowledge about the population or parameters, but required to test hypothesis. Usually it is used in nominal level of measurements and ordinal level of measurements. Example, Mann-Whitney U test, Kruskal-Wallis test, Wilcoxon-Saint rank test. This table will give you an idea regarding the parametric and non-parametric test and when to use these tests. So first column consists of level of measurement. In the previous video, I have given detailed explanation regarding the level of measurements. So level of measurements, it is of four types, that is nominal level of measurement, ordinal level of measurement, interval level of measurement, ratio level of measurement. In parametric test, the measurement should be in interval scale, should be at least in interval scale. So in case of interval level of measurement, if we are having two groups and those groups are independent groups, then we will be using independent group test. And if the groups are dependent groups, we will be using paired t-test. In case of more than three groups, if the groups are independent groups, we will be using ANOVA test. And in case of dependent groups, we will be using RM-ANOVA. Coming to the ordinal level of measurement, in case of two groups, Mann-Whitney test is used for independent groups and Wilcoxon-Saint rank test will be used for dependent groups. And in case of more than three groups, Kruskal-Wallis H test will be used for independent groups and Friedman's test will be used for dependent groups. Coming to the nominal level of measurement, in case of two groups, chi-square will be used for independent groups, McNemar's test will be used for dependent groups. In case of more than three groups, chi-square will be used for independent groups, Cochrane's Q test will be used for dependent groups. Next question. The collection and presentation of data used to explain characteristics of variables is known as options A. Descriptive statistics, B. Inferential statistics, C. Demographic statistics, D. Socioeconomic statistics. Answer is A. Descriptive statistics. So the collection and presentation of data used to explain characteristics of variables is known as descriptive statistics. So descriptive statistics is that branch of statistics which is concerned with describing the population under study. Descriptive statistics is concerned with describing the population under study. Inferential statistics is a type of statistics that focuses on drawing conclusions about the population on the basis of sample analysis and observation. So inferential statistics focuses on drawing conclusions about the population on the basis of sample analysis and observation. Next question. Skewness is a measure of options A. Symmetry of probability, B. Asymmetry of probability, C. Central tendency, D. Measures of dispersion. Answer is B. Asymmetry of probability. Skewness is a measure of asymmetry of probability. Next question. The standard deviation of a sampling distribution is referred to as options A. Test statistic, B. Standard error, C. Confidence interval, D. Test of significance. Answer is B. Standard error. The standard deviation of a sampling distribution is referred to as standard error. Standard error is usually calculated by dividing standard deviation by square root of sample size. Dividing standard deviation by square root of sample size, we will get standard error. Next question. Probability values fall on scale between options A -1 to +1, B 0 and 1, C -3 to +3, D 0.05 to 0.01. Answer is 0 and 1. Probability values fall on scale between 0 and 1. Next question. A type of graphical presentation used to explain correlation between dependent and independent variable is options A histogram, B frequency polygon, C frequency curve, D scatter plot or scatter diagram. Answer is D scatter plot. So scatter diagram, it is usually used to show the nature of correlation between two variables. So this is a scatter diagram or dot diagram, and it is usually used to present quantitative data. This is a histogram. Histogram is also used for presentation of the quantitative data, and it is the most commonly used graphical representation of grouped frequency distribution. This is frequency polygon. It is a curve obtained by joining the midpoints of the tops of the rectangles in a histogram by straight line. So that is a frequency polygon. So quantitative data and qualitative data are usually presented in two ways. If we are having quantitative data, the graphical representations usually we are using are histogram, frequency polygon, line graph, cumulative frequency curve, and scatter or dot diagram. So histogram, we have seen that it is the most commonly used graphical representation of grouped frequency distribution. And frequency polygon, it is usually obtained by connecting the midpoints of the histogram using the line. And case of scatter diagram, usually it is used to show the correlation between the variables. The graphical representations that we are using for presenting qualitative data are bar diagram, pie diagram, pictogram, and map diagram. Bar diagram is a convenient graphical device that is particularly useful for displaying nominal or ordinal data. So in case of nominal or ordinal data, we are using the bar diagram. Pie diagram is another useful pictorial device for representing discrete data of qualitative characters such as RH groups, age groups, sex groups, or social groups in a population. Next question. Correlation coefficient ranges from options A 0.01 to 0.05, B 0 to 1, C -1 to +1, D -3 to +3. Answer is C -1 to +1. So correlation coefficient ranges from -1 to +1. Next question. In a naturalistic observation, the phenomenon in which the behavior of subjects being observed changes because they are being watched is called. Once again, in a naturalistic observation, the phenomenon in which the behavior of subjects being observed changes because they are being watched is called. Options A. Observer bias, B. Observer effect, C. Participant observation, D. Representative sampling. Answer is B. Observer effect. Next question. Deductive reasoning is applied in options A. Qualitative research, B. Quantitative research, C. Action research, D. Applied research. Answer is B. Quantitative research. So deductive process is used in quantitative research and inductive process is used in qualitative research. Next question. Analysis of variance test is used to options A. Test the difference between two independent group means. B. Test the difference between two dependent group means. C. Test the difference among the means of more than 3, that is 3 plus independent groups. D. Test the difference in ranks of scores of 3 plus independent groups. Answer is C. Test the difference among the means of 3 plus independent groups. So that is the analysis of variance test. Next question. The principle of ethics in nursing research include options A. Beneficence, B. Respect for human dignity, C. Justice, D. All of the above. Answer is D. All of the above. Next question. Which of the following is true about quasi-experimental research design? Options A. Manipulation, control group, randomization. B. Manipulation but no control group or randomization. C. No manipulation of independent variable. D. Use of correlational approach. Answer is B. Manipulation but no control group or randomization. In quasi-experimental research design, manipulation is there but either control group or randomization is used. But in a true experimental research design, these three characteristics are present, that is manipulation, control group and randomization. Next question, which of the following data collection method has better subjectivity? Options A. Self-report, B. Observation, C. Biophysiologic measure, D. Questionnaires. Answer is C. Biophysiologic measure. Next question, the extent to which the same results are obtained on repeated administrations of the instruments is termed as options A. Internal consistency, B. Validity, C. Stability, D. Sensitivity. Answer is C. Stability. So the extent to which the same results are obtained on repeated administrations of the instruments is termed as stability. The three main characteristics of reliability are stability, equivalence, and consistency. Stability, it is the extent to which the same scores are obtained when the instrument is used with the same people on separate occasions. Extent to which the same scores are obtained when the instrument is used with the same people on separate occasions. Next is equivalence. The consistency or equivalence of the instrument is determined by different observers or raters. The consistency or equivalence of the instrument, it is determined by different observers or raters. Next is the consistency. The extent to which tests or procedures assess the same characteristics, skills or quality. It is a measure of the precision between the observers or the measuring instruments used in a study. Test-retest method. It is a method most commonly used to measure the stability of an instrument. That means the consistency of a measure across time. Do you get the same results when you repeat the measurement? Check whether we are getting the same result if we are repeating the measurements or if we are using the instruments on same people on different occasions. That is a test-retest method. Next is the inter-rater reliability. It is usually done to measure the equivalence of an instrument. That is the consistency of a measure across raters or observers. Do you get the same results when different people conduct the same measurement? Check whether we are getting the same results if the instrument is used by different people on same population. Next is the internal consistency. That is the consistency of the measurement itself. Do you get the same results from different parts of a test that are designed to measure the same thing? That is, check we are getting the same results from different parts of a test that are designed to measure the same thing. One of the methods used for assessing the internal consistency is a split half technique. It is designed to correlate half of the items with other half and is appropriate for instrument that is designed to measure attitudes towards an issue or phenomenon. In split half method, the items from the instrument are divided into two, usually with the even numbered items in one group and the odd numbered items in the other group. And a correlation is done between the scores of the two halves of the same instruments. And the correlation that we are using in the split half technique is the Spearman-Brown correlation factor. Next question. The adequacy of an instrument in differentiating between the performance or behavior on some future criterion is termed as options A. Predictive validity, B. Concurrent validity, C. Content validity, D. Construct validity. Answer is A. Predictive validity. So the adequacy of an instrument in differentiating between the performance or behavior on some future criterion is termed as predictive validity. So validity is of various types. First one is a face validity. Face validity involves an overall look of an instrument regarding its appropriateness to measure a particular attribute or phenomenon. Face validity involves an overall look of an instrument regarding its appropriateness to measure a particular attribute or phenomenon. Content validity, the extent to which the measurement covers all aspects of the concept being measured. Content validity is the extent to which the measurement covers all aspects of the concept being measured. Next comes the criterion validity. Criterion validity, it is a relationship between measurements of the instrument with some other external criteria. Criterion validity is a relationship between measurements of the instrument with some other external criteria. It is of two types, that is predictive validity and concurrent validity. Predictive validity, it is the ability of an assessment measure to predict someone's future behavior in related but different situation. Concurrent validity is concerned with the subject's current status with regards to the variable. Predictive validity, it is the ability of an assessment measure to predict someone's future behavior, and in concurrent validity, it is concerned with the subject's current status with regards to the variable. Internal validity occurs when it can be concluded that there is a causal relationship between the variables being studied. Next type of validity is the internal validity. It occurs when we can conclude that there is a causal relationship between the variables being studied. External validity occurs when the causal relationship discovered can be generalized to other people, times, and context. External validity occurs when the relationship that we have discovered can be generalized to other people, times, and context. Next is a construct validity. That is the adherence of a measure to existing theory and knowledge of the concept being measured. The adherence of a measure to existing theory and knowledge of the concept being measured. Next question. The most common type of composite scale is options A. Likert scale, B. Visual analog scale, C. Checklist, D. Thurston scale. Answer is A. Likert scale. The most common type of composite scale is Likert scale. Visual analog scale is a tool that is used to measure a discomfort or characteristics in range across a continuum of values. Likert scale is a tool consists of items that require respondents. Thurston scale, it is the agreement or disagreement on large number of statements, that is yes or no on large number of statements. So this is a Likert scale, and the 5 possible responses are strongly agree, agree, neither agree nor disagree, disagree, strongly disagree. And this is the visual analog scale. So friends, these are some of the questions from the topic nursing research and statistics. If you like this video, please like it, share it and subscribe it, and also click the bell icon so that you will get notifications if I am uploading new videos. Thank you for watching the channel.